What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money, saving money, building generational wealth, and financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I give you a six-figure MBA level worth of investing in financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. And the things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn in grad school and in business school, I get to you for free here on Financipation. And as a guy who has an MBA, I feel very comfortable telling you that. Before I get started, I also want to give a shout out to Killer Solutions. They're one of my sponsors. If you need digital marketing, someone to edit your YouTube videos, or someone to essentially meet your digital demands, they're the best in the business of meeting all of your digital needs. And additionally, I want you to hit that like button. Please comment, please subscribe. That's the algorithm. And I thoroughly enjoy giving you guys free content. So full disclosure, everyone, this is a finance channel, everybody, and I rarely talk about sports on my channel because there are a lot of shows on television, and a lot of podcasters, a lot of YouTubers that essentially spend all day, every day devoted to talking about sports. Having said that, I do want to do a podcast, however, on a 6'3" female athlete that currently plays forward for LSU named Angel Reese. And the reason why is because Angel Reese is arguably the most famous college athlete in America right now, and known affectionately as the Bayou Barbie. Angel has amassed literally millions of dollars playing college basketball on the amateur level. And given the sexism and the discrepancies that women typically experience in the world of sports, I find it rather fascinating that Angel Reese is arguably one of the most famous amateur athletes in America right now, and the fact that she has literally made millions of dollars playing college basketball. That's what we're going to talk about, okay? The finances behind being the Bayou Barbie, and the finances and the financial generational wealth that Angel Reese has amassed. So first and foremost, who exactly is Angel Reese? Angel was born on October May 6, 2002 to Angel and Michael Reese, and she was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. Angel grew up playing basketball with her older brother Julian in their driveway, and she eventually started playing on recreational basketball leagues in Baltimore and played on boys teams when she was very young. Angel eventually became one of the best players in the city and had tremendous success playing above her age group, and she also excelled playing on teams with boys. In middle school and high school, she played point guard before she had a growth spurt, and she eventually ended up growing to be 6'3", and she played all 5 positions in basketball in high school. Angel was also a multi-sport athlete, and she excelled in ballet, gymnastics, swimming, volleyball, and track and field. In her freshman year in high school, Angel averaged 11 points and 11 rebounds, and her team went 30-1. In her sophomore year in high school, Angel and her team went 24-4, and she averaged 18 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks per game. Her number 10 jersey was retired her junior year in high school, and in her senior year in high school, Angel Reese averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks per game. And her high school won their 4th straight Interscholastic Athletic Association title in Baltimore, Maryland, her senior year in high school. Reese was named the High School Female Athlete of the Year by the Baltimore Sun, and Reese finished her high school basketball career scoring 1,720 points. She had 1,250 rebounds and over 350 assists. It should also be noted that Angel Reese ended up attending St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, and she was named a McDonald's All-American in 2020. Angel Reese was also named a McDonald's All-American in basketball in 2020. Now, that was her high school career. Let's talk about her college career. Reese was a 5-star recruit, the number 2 player and the top wing player in the 2020 class, according to ESPN. She had over 30 Division I basketball offers and ultimately chose the University of Maryland in College Park. As a freshman in College Park, Reese averaged 10 points and 6 rebounds per game. As a sophomore, Angel Reese averaged 14 points and 9 rebounds for Maryland, and she was named first team All Big Ten ACC, and she made the conference's All Defensive Team. In her sophomore year at Maryland, she led her 4th seeded Maryland Terrapins the Sweet 16 of the 2022 NCAA tournament, where she averaged 18 points and 11 rebounds per game. Now let's move on to her junior year in the transfer portal, okay? At the end of her sophomore season, Angel Reese wanted a fresh start and a coach who would develop her into a stretch 4 to prepare for playing professional basketball against the best women in the world in the WNBA. Unfortunately, though, in Maryland, her coach in Maryland did not necessarily see her point. So as a result of that, Angel Reese decided to, in 2022, to enter the NCAA transfer portal, where she was the most heralded transfer in the nation when it came to basketball, and she eventually settled on LSU down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So these are some of her stats her junior season at LSU. She surpassed the LSU single-game rebounding record with a 26-point, 28 rebound performance over Texas A&M, and Reese had her 20th straight double-double over Alabama in her junior year. In her junior year, Angel Reese had a career-high 36-point, 20 rebound performance at Ole Miss University. She also earned first-team All-Southeastern Conference and All-Defensive Team honors at the end of her junior season. It should also be noted that at the end of her junior year, Angel Reese was named the most outstanding player, or MOP, in the Final Four. In her junior year, Reese helped LSU win its first national championship, in which in the national championship game, she posted an amazing stat line of 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in a 102-85 victory over Iowa in the national championship title game. She also won the tournament's most outstanding player once again, and she set the NCAA single record with 34 double-doubles, where she essentially ended up dominating the competition. And this is also where it gets kind of funny. So in the national championship game in 2022, in the closing minutes of the national championship game, Angel Reese essentially followed the Iowa star Caitlin Clark around the court and made a "you can't see me" gesture by waving her hand right directly in front of Caitlin Clark's face. If you watch professional wrestling, and I'm not a professional wrestling fan at all, yeah, I think it's the same thing that John Cena does or something like that. In any event, Reese's actions were heavily criticized by mostly conservative outlets and by some journalists and analysts who criticized her for poor sportsmanship, and others just flat out calling her ghetto and saying that she had no professionalism. I personally always found that to be a little ridiculous because I'm gonna be honest with you, as a guy who plays sports my entire life, people, when you play basketball, you talk junk to each other. It's as simple as that. And it's also kind of ridiculous because Caitlin Clark, who is from Iowa, had literally been doing the exact same gesture to other players the game before, and no one complained about it. Yet these same conservative media pundits literally never had a problem with it or started saying that Caitlin Clark, who's from Iowa, was unprofessional or ghetto or unsportsmanlike until she was doing. But when this quote unquote black girl from Baltimore was doing it, oh, she was ghetto and she had no professionalism. To me, I just found it to be very stupid. Having said that, that double standard that existed is what it is. I will say this though, to her credit, Iowa's Caitlin Clark said she didn't have any issue with Angel Reese and that the two are simply competitors that hate losing. So from one competitor to another, she understood that when you play sports, you're not going to say nice things to each other. As a former high-level athlete myself, if I told you guys on camera some of the racist things that I heard in locker rooms before my basketball games or before some of my sanctioned kickboxing and mixed martial arts fights and things like that, what Angel Reese did was literally nothing. Before I go any further, please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop new content. Please hit that like button, also share the video. It helps the algorithm, and I thoroughly enjoy giving you guys free content. Next, as I stated earlier, this is a finance channel. It's not a sports channel. So now I want to talk about the meat and potatoes of the podcast, the financials behind being Angel Reese and being the Bayou Barbie. So first and foremost, let's talk about the NIL deals, okay? This is, once again, everybody, a finance channel. And if you're not familiar with what the NIL is, it stands for name, image, and likeness. And it's a part of a landmark Supreme Court ruling that allows college athletes to make money off of their jersey sales, their name recognition, their image, and most importantly, their likeness. So I'll give you an example, right? In 1992, when Chris Webber was a leading member of the Fab Five in Michigan, he once said he was so broke, he couldn't afford to put gas in his car or buy a $2 burger from a sports bar. During that same time period, however, Chris Webber, when he played for Michigan State, that university made over $11 million with an M dollars off of Chris Webber's jersey sales alone. During that time period, however, Michigan State University, which was the university that Chris Webber played basketball for when he was a freshman in the Fab Five, they made over $11 million with an M off of Chris Webber's jersey sales, merchandise sales, his image, and his likeness. So on one hand, Chris Webber didn't make one penny, allegedly, playing basketball at Michigan State. He couldn't afford to buy a $2 burger to put gas in his car. The Michigan State University literally made $11 million off of his jersey alone. Make it make sense, people. Well, the NIL deal changed all of that. And in 2021, it essentially allowed athletes like Angel Reese to essentially start making money off of their jersey sales and off of their name, image, and likeness. And in 2023, when Angel Reese won a national championship in basketball, she started firing off social media tweets on Instagram. These social media tweets also doubled as ads, and a significant portion of the money went directly into Angel Reese's pocket. How about this? If a local car plant in Baton Rouge wanted to essentially cut her a $10,000 check and then basically put her in the market or advertise for their local car dealership, she was getting paid for that. Prior to the NIL, NC2 athletes were not allowed to do that. Number two, the second way that athletes can make money off the NIL is through separate markets, specifically two separate markets we're going to talk about today. The first market largely compensates athletes through brand deals, and athletes are typically paid or given free products for posting promotional content on social media. Once again, it gets back to the point. You send out a tweet, you basically post yourself wearing something. With their deal, you get paid for it. Like I said earlier, the NIL allows the best and most popular athletes to essentially receive a cut of sales from merchandise with the names and their numbers on it. The second market, which tends to be much more lucrative that we're going to talk about, involves athletes earning de facto salaries from donor-funded groups called collectives. The collectives are affiliated with schools but are not an official part of them. They essentially pay athletes for charity work and have a heavy influence in football and especially in basketball recruiting. As a way to raise more money, many of these collectives are 501c3 nonprofits, meaning donations are tax deductible. And yes, because these are 501c3s, the Internal Revenue Service is skeptical, but not to the point of shutting down the nonprofit collectives. NIL, essentially, everybody, is what blue chip, old school, decorated football and basketball coaches complain about after another top recruit does not go to their school, or rather transfers to another non-powerhouse school. But the NIL is also how your school went from not being quite relevant to landing certified NBA and NFL future Hall of Fame talents and 5-star recruited top talents in football and in men and women's basketball, and after not being relevant for literally over a decade. Just look at kind of what Deion Sanders is doing out in Colorado, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So at the time of this recording in 2024, according to Forbes magazine, Angel Reese currently has an NIL valuation of over $1.8 million with an M dollars in their bank account. According to Forbes, Reese's endorsements and portfolios are Tops, Airbnb, Reebok, Tampax, PlayStation, Raising Cane's, McDonald's, and Beats by Dre. And because Angel Reese's deals are essentially long-term, they will continue regardless of what she decides to do and when she decides to play in the WNBA or not. Lastly, given her height, Angel Reese is also getting offers to model professionally by several top modeling agencies, and she was recently paid over $1 million with an M to appear in the swimsuit edition of Sports Illustrated. Lastly, the financial numbers I said earlier, they also don't include the ad money that Angel Reese is making every time she sends out a tweet on Twitter or posts a photo on Instagram. As I stated earlier at the beginning of this podcast, Angel Reese, or the Bayou Barbie as people affectionately call her, is using her Baltimore home basketball skills to financially emancipate her family from poverty and to build generational wealth. Now, because I like to talk about the positives of my channel, I'm also going to talk about what I consider somewhat some of the negatives, okay? So I recently did a podcast on my channel called The #1 Wealth Killer in America that no one is talking about. And in that podcast, I talked about how we as Americans waste so much money buying cars. So for her 21st birthday, Angel Reese purchased or was gifted a $130,000 EQS 580 big body Mercedes-Benz. Even though she's on her way to becoming a professional athlete and she already has millions of dollars in the bank, I personally believe that her spending $130,000 on that brand new vehicle, there was different things she could have done with the money. And I want to kind of do an example as far as how that could potentially hurt her in the long term when it comes to her finances. So let's run the numbers. Let's see how differently her finances would look in 10 years, 30 years, 40 years, in regards to if she had invested a portion of that money versus dropping $130,000 on this vehicle, okay? So in this example, imagine if Angel Reese took that $130,000 and instead of spending it all on one car, she basically spent $40,000 cash and bought a used Lexus RX 350 that only had 1,000 miles on it. And then let's say Angel Reese invested the remaining $90,000 into a good low-cost total stock market index fund that's passively managed through Fidelity that currently has a rate of return or APY of 15%. If Angel put this $90,000 into that brokerage account and invested that money into a low-cost index fund that through Fidelity that tracks the total stock market index fund and never touched it, in 10 years, she would have $365,000 waiting for her in her brokerage account. In 20 years, Angel Reese would have $1.5 million with an M dollars waiting for her in her bank account. In 30 years, Angel Reese would have $6 million with an M waiting for her in her brokerage account. And in 40 years, when she was ready to retire, essentially at 61, and whatever career she goes to after basketball, she would have $24 million with an M waiting for her in retirement off of a $90,000 investment that she made 40 years earlier. So, Angel, if you are listening to this, keep up the good work on the basketball courts, but please, please, please invest as much money as possible, okay? And for all my listeners, I want you guys to seriously think about that, okay? And keep that in mind when you're thinking about buying a new car versus a used car and investing the money into the real estate or into the stock market with the difference, okay? Just keep that in mind. Lastly, fellas, I'll say this as well. She's single, so if you're into tall, athletic, rich women that model for Sports Illustrated and you see her walking around Baton Rouge, shoot your shot and let's see what happens, okay? In closing, and in all seriousness, in closing, Baltimore and Philly are sister cities. And as a kid, and as a Philly kid who essentially lived in 4 different murder capitals growing up, I've always rooted for people who make it up out of cities like Baltimore, because I know how much the deck is stacked against people like that. Like I said, I have roots in Philadelphia, so I have nothing but love for anybody that does make it up out of Baltimore. All of us, essentially everybody, have been given a talent by the man upstairs to essentially rise above the circumstances that we're born into. For some, like myself, it's white collar jobs like engineering and entrepreneurship. For others, it's like they join the U.S. military, they learn a trade. And then for others like Angel Reese, God blesses them essentially through basketball and or through sports. So the channel Financipation is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth. It's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. You can book a one-on-one session with me anytime, everybody. I'm not giving financial advice on this channel. You got to make your own individual decisions based off of your own independent research that you do for yourself, for your family, okay? And thanks for listening, everybody. Also, please check out the website, www.therealfinancipation.com. Additionally, please check us out on Instagram at @thereal_Financipation. Please check us out on Spotify, Financipation, TikTok, same name, Financipation, just like it's spelled more or less on my hoodie, as you can see. And check my Facebook page as well, my Facebook trial Financipation. Check out my financial blog as well, where I go into a lot more detail about HSAs, REITs, Roth IRA conversions, real estate, things of that nature, okay? And lastly, check out my digital e-products as well. Hit that notification bell. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe, please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop new content. And thanks to Telecom Solutions for all of these dope graphics. It's your boy Chris. I'm out, everybody. Peace.